Good morning. Good morning. Happy Veterans Day. On behalf of Dr. DeRay, Dr. Figgy, Dr. Gentry, and the entire Brightpoint community family, we would like to thank you for joining us today as we celebrate our veterans. The veterans that we celebrate are nationwide, but especially the veterans that attend Brightpoint Community College, the veterans that work and serve at Brightpoint Community College, and live in the community in which we serve. We are sure that you are going to enjoy this day as we celebrate and honor our veterans. At this time, could you please stand for the singing of the national anthem that will be given by Ms. Kaylin Moore.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Good morning, everyone. It is an honor to welcome you to Brightpoint Community College Veterans Day ceremony. A moment for us to pause, reflect, and express our deepest gratitude to the men and women who served in the United States Armed Forces. Today, we join together as a community college to honor their courage, sacrifice, and commitment to protecting the freedom we cherish. Veterans Day is more than a day of remembrance. It is a reminder of the enduring strength, resilience, and unity that our veterans represent. Each of us benefits from their service, whether they serve during times of conflict or peace. Their dedication reminds us of the values we strive to uphold here at Brightpoint Community College: service, integrity, and community. As we gather this morning, let us not only honor those who have worn the uniform, but also commit ourselves to supporting them in every way we can through education, advocacy, and appreciation. May we continue to learn from their example and ensure that their sacrifices are never forgotten. On behalf of Brightpoint Community College, thank you for being here today to celebrate and honor our nation's veterans, past, present, and future. I would like to welcome our keynote speaker, John Maxwell.
Well, good morning, everybody, and thank you, Shaquana. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Dr. Dore, Dr. Gentry, we are so glad to have you, and Dr. Figgy, thanks very much for allowing me to speak here today in front of your team here. It's quite an honor. You know, today is a deeply meaningful day, and events are held around the country to recognize really a small segment of our population who defended our nation against those who wish to do us harm. However, I don't plan to focus so much on veteran service today, but I want to focus more on what happens once the uniform comes off. I want to talk about community, and I know this is something that's very deeply entrenched in Brightpoint Community College. And I want to talk about veterans connecting with and serving their community, and their community surrounding and welcoming them. 243 years ago this month, General George Washington addressed the Continental Army for the last time as their commander. In his farewell orders, he gave us direction. And I realize this is in 1783 speak, so bear with me a little bit here, but this is from his remarks. It is universally acknowledged that the enlarged prospect of happiness, opened by the confirmation of our independence and sovereignty, almost exceeds the power of description. And shall not the brave men who have contributed so essentially to these inestimable acquisitions, retiring victorious from the field of war to the field of agriculture, participate in all the blessings which have been obtained? In such a republic, who will exclude them from the rights of citizens and the fruits of their labors? In essence, what's George Washington saying? Hey, community, welcome back our service members and make sure they're given a chance to succeed. But to our veterans in the room, he doesn't let us off the hook. And so he gives us really two mandates as he gets further down into his remarks. Here's the first one. In order to effect this desirable purpose and to remove the prejudices which may have taken possession of the minds of any of the good people of the states, it is earnestly recommended to all the troops that with strong attachments to the Union, they should carry with them into civil society the most conciliating dispositions, and that they should prove themselves not less virtuous and useful as citizens than they have been preserving and victorious as soldiers. And then the second one, everyone may rest assured that much, very much of the future happiness of the officers and men will depend upon the wise and manly conduct which shall be adopted by these when they are mingled with the great body of community. So in plain language, what's he telling veterans? Be productive members of society and serve your communities. And there are plenty of highly visible and positive examples of what happens when communities come together. Food pantries, which are helping those who need assistance with procuring their next meal because of disruptions in SNAP. When Hurricane Helene rolled through Asheville, North Carolina, and Southwest Virginia, people showed up for their neighbors. The actions of community show that we have this innate ability to set aside our differences and work together for our common good during crisis. Very similar to how and why we form close bonds in the military. In the military, you form tight bonds quickly because you really don't have another choice. You are thrown into extreme situations, and in order to survive, really to thrive, you need each other. You're always accomplishing your mission as a teammate. Our families join family readiness groups and spouses groups because these are the ways for them to do the same things. Yet when a service member takes off the uniform for the last time and becomes a veteran, they underappreciate the need for and how connections are made outside the military. And at the same time, their connections within the military become thinner. And even though there's plenty of people who want to help, these new bonds just don't form quickly. Unfortunately, these somewhat meager community connections is combined with a bunch of other difficulties. What career path will you pursue? Where will you live? What will your purpose be in life? And unlike in the military, there isn't a non-commissioned officer or a seasoned leader who will proactively reach out to you to show you a path. So you feel like you have to figure it out on your own. And LinkedIn, TikTok, and YouTube are not the panacea of support that they're made out to be. To add to that challenge, former service members are usually terrible and I use that word specifically about asking for help. We learn how to put our heads down and figure out on our own how to get the job done. We're not the most social creatures outside of military circles, and both of these character traits tend to cause problems outside the military. So when I was at the Department of Veteran Services, my 2 years as commissioner were marked by the start of and the exiting from COVID. And I had also moved recently from Chesapeake to the Richmond area. So like a lot of former military folks, new job, new home, except that I was meeting everybody via Zoom. But when my wife and I would go walk the dog, I would see people and I'd ask her, can I go in the other direction? I didn't want to talk to anybody. Not only would my wife get mad at me, rightfully so, but how were either of us going to learn how to build community if we didn't talk to anyone? Meeting new people in a purely social situation was hard for me. It took a while to figure out what the problem was. And it turned out I didn't know what questions to ask my neighbors because I had never been outside the military community as an adult. I didn't know how to start with the basics of relationship building in a non-military setting. You'd expect after 5+ years of living in a new place as a civilian, I finally started to understand that community bonds require hundreds of person-to-person interactions and shared experiences, and they usually don't start inside a pressure cooker, but they all start with learning about the other person who's right across from you. So for veterans, once you get past that hurdle, there's still another gap that you have to work through. And I would challenge every veteran here. Go ask a neighbor or a civilian friend, someone who has no association with the military. Ask them this question. Would you help a service member transitioning from the military? And I'll bet that the answer will almost always be a resounding, well, of course, yes. And then follow up that question with, well, how would you do that? And then I'll bet there's some silence after that. Or someone says, I don't really know. Our neighbors, our local friends, businesses, and churches care that veterans integrate fully with them in day-to-day life because teamwork is so important, as is leadership, adaptability, loyalty, and hard work. Those who surround veterans honor service and sacrifice, and oftentimes they're amazed by how deep it really goes. They want to help, but often they're at a loss of how, and we don't make it any easier. And I want to tell another story here. When I was down and living in Chesapeake and was still in the Navy, I was fortunate enough to participate in an immersive civic awareness program with business and nonprofit leaders in the Hampton Roads area. Since the military plays a foundational role in the Tidewater culture and economy, we spent a lot of time discussing how the military integrated with the region. Near the end of that year-long program, I thought, oh my. Many non-military people have this skewed perception of who we are simply because of what they see. They see traffic going on the base, they see traffic leaving the base. The news reports when a ship or a squadron or a unit deploys, and they report when they return home from deployment. You see the tears of joy and happiness. And then they emphasize that here's the folks defending our nation. But nobody really knows what they do. They know what the military does. They don't see what's happening behind those fences. And why is that? The military is by nature an insular organization. We learn this, and we stick to what we know, we stick to who we know, and we aren't often forced to venture outside of that. True, our spouses and family members have to reach out more than service members, but even then, many live on base and shop at the exchange and the commissary. But as a civilian, unless you want to be a hermit or a monk, you must connect with your community to be successful. So why not start right away? Veterans have a lot of skills and experience, many of which are in desperately needed in the civilian workplace and volunteering environments. But let's face it, most veterans probably don't know their way around an advanced manufacturing facility or a bank, or they may not know the financial and marketing aspects of a Kroger store. But veterans can learn, and they're good at learning, And the fact that veterans are here at Brightpoint Community College means there's that full demonstration and willingness to learn. But just like the Army is different from the Marine Corps, in ranks, cultures, and processes, every business is different. And just like you have to learn a new job, you have to make time to learn your neighborhood, your church, your kids' baseball league before you can lead it. And for better, although it sometimes seems for worse, you can't order people around in your community. You have to learn how to influence in subtle ways. But you can't build up that influence without building strong relationships. Those deep, rewarding relationships needed to succeed as a civilian take time and effort, a lot more than you think, and they require patience and presence. But nothing that's worth doing is accomplished overnight. So, fellow veterans, I think you'll find that you can be successful by starting out in listening mode. Try it in a volunteer position first. Do the task you showed up to do, but then spend some time studying the organization's dynamics. Meet people, learn what they do, and after you've done that, ask a few questions. And you'll find people will come to you and say things like, "I really liked your question," or, "I think that the way you're approaching that problem is really excellent." You know, veterans and our families are deeply appreciative of our community's desires to assist and the sincere gratitude that you express. So to our community members, I'd ask that you take that one step further. Instead of, or in addition to, "Thank you for your service," try, "What did you most like about serving in the military?" It's a fantastic conversation starter, and you'll learn all kinds of things about that veteran. It's a perfect question for a military or veteran family member too. Because our veterans and family members understand accountability, they understand process, they understand planning, they understand structure. And if you want that in your organization, taking a minute to understand what that veteran did beyond what is written in a resume or a biography, or what's said in that 10 or 30-second elevator pitch that is practiced over and over again in the truck before you go into a networking event, may uncover exactly the person you want for your organization. These types of questions are tremendously helpful to veterans too, especially those starting new careers, like many in this room. Those conversations help when the veteran is in an interview. Veterans then learn how to describe their military experience in terms that someone without a military background can understand and connect with. I once had this bullet in my resume: led the at-sea element of Hurricane Irma recovery efforts near Key West. It's truly one of my greatest accomplishments in the Navy after 28 years. But you know what? I never got a single interview question about that bullet, not one. And it took me a while to figure out why. Because the interviewers had no idea what I meant. That didn't resonate with them. And they didn't even know how to begin exploring that bullet. So I often wonder what would have happened differently if I could have tweaked that, or if I could have had somebody help me write that bullet. I was at a conference last week, and I learned that Homo sapiens beat out Neanderthals because we learned to work together. So collaboration and community are our DNA, and it's why we're successful. But we have egos, and we're stubborn, and we like to point out what others are doing wrong. So I would argue that if we act with humility and focus on our service to each other, we can form the connective tissue needed to be successful in community. Not despite our differences, but by being able to take advantage of our differences. We might learn a little, we might become more cooperative and collaborative and get a lot more done in our community. And yes, a rising tide does float all boats. I've seen it in the Navy, and I've seen it in community. Thank you again for allowing me to be with you today. May God bless our military, our veterans, our families, our community, and our nation. Thank you.
Thank you, John, for doing that keynote address. Would you come back up here so we have a little small token of appreciation for you? Thank you for being here today with us. So unfortunately, we will not have our student speaker today. Unforeseen circumstances would not allow for him to be here. So we're going to have Dr. Figgy come up here. Ready there.
Well, good morning. All right. Well, thank you, Captain Maxwell, for those wonderful words. He specifically said he didn't want his whole bio read, but a 28-year Navy veteran and currently chair of the Veteran Community Network of Central Virginia. He's truly giving back to this community, as he said in his talk, helping veterans transition into civilian life. Let's give him another big round of applause. So my name's Bill Figgy. I'm honored to serve as president here at Brightpoint Community College. And certainly we want to welcome all the veterans we have in attendance today. The chancellor, all of our community members, certainly our students, our faculty and staff, including any who may be watching online. You know, as I introduce our musical salute, I first want to thank our first musician. Kaylin, great job. We appreciate you being a student here at Brightpoint and singing our national anthem today. Give her another round of applause. And now it's my honor to welcome Mr. David Hinton. I absolutely love hearing bagpipes, and he plays the medleys from different branches of our armed services. And I ask those veterans in attendance to stand as able as you hear yours being played. Mr. Hinton? Thing I learned about Mr. Hinton, prior to the program starting, he's still a drummer in a rock band. So I'll have to get more information at the reception and go see him in concert. So always a pleasure to have you at this event, and appreciate your service in this community. So as you can see on the back of your program, we have a large contingent of faculty and staff having served in the military. Many are part-time faculty and/or staff and are working other jobs, and others are full-time and teaching classes now. But as able, would each of you in attendance please stand and be recognized? Our students are the reason why we exist here at Brightpoint, and this fall we certified 460 military-affiliated students. Again, many of them are now working other jobs, many of them are in class right now, but with those in attendance, please stand and be recognized. And we also welcome our veterans within the community who are attending today's event. Will you please stand and be recognized as able? So I'd be remiss not to thank our military and veteran staff here at Brightpoint. Shaquana Boysall, Herman West, and Carmen Lathrop, thank you for your service to the Military and Veterans Office. Will you give them a round of applause? Raise your hand so we'll make this one again. Also, you may have noticed a small construction project when you entered. We are moving our flagpoles to the front of this building, as the current location in front of Goyne Hall does not provide good visibility due to the tree growth over the last 58 years. So we hang the flags of the United States of America, the Commonwealth of Virginia, and our college with great pride, and look forward to having them flown here at Chester in a much more visible location. On this Veterans Day, we come together to honor and express our deepest gratitude to the men and women who have served the United States Armed Forces. Veterans Day, celebrated every year on November 11th at 11 a.m., holds special significance as it marks the armistice signed in 1918, bringing an end to World War I. This moment in history, known as the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, a symbolic time for reflection and remembrance of the sacrifices made by our military service members. What began as Armistice Day to commemorate the end of one of the deadliest conflicts in history has evolved into a broader celebration of all veterans, honoring their service across all branches of the military and all conflicts. Some of us may have complained about the cold temperatures we dealt with this morning, the sacrifice to get out of bed and into our vehicles to make it all the way to Brightpoint today. But as we gather at this important time, let us take a moment to reflect on the courage, sacrifice, and dedication that veterans have shown throughout our history. Some wish they only had to deal with the truly first world problem of having a little cold temperatures in the morning. Veterans Day serves not only as a reminder of the importance of our military, but also as a call to support and care for those who have given so much to protect our freedoms. Whether through personal reflection or collective commemoration, may we all carry the spirit of this day with us, recognizing the profound impact of our veterans and the value of their contributions to our nation's history and future. Here at Brightpoint, our vision is a success story for every student. All 10,000 plus students here this fall, may I say, the largest number of students in a fall since before COVID. They're taking at least one course in more than our 80 degree and certificate programs, and another 2,000 plus students are enrolled in a workforce credential through our Community College Workforce Alliance. To support students, we have food pantries available to them. We have expanded bus service. We have a 24/7 mental health online support through Timely Care, a care team, a loaner laptop program in partnership between our IT department and library team, and much more. This year, we have given 15 laptops to veterans, spouses, and dependents who we have given out, and we have more to give out before the end of the semester. So if you know any students, have them see Shaquana, and she'll be sure to get them one of these laptops. These are refurbished laptops that the Military and Veterans Affairs Office received from the Virginia Department of Veterans Services and Tech for Troops. We also believe in fostering a culture of care here at Brightpoint. Just yesterday, the Military and Veterans Club volunteered at the Chesterfield Food Bank, and our staff is working on providing training for faculty and staff to better understand the complexities of active duty military personnel and veterans transitioning into college life. To have a success story for every student, we need to know the stories and provide pathways to success. So, thank you all for spending your day here at Brightpoint to honor those who have given so much to us. Again, thank you to all the veterans for your service, and it is now my honor to introduce my boss, the Chancellor of the VCCS. He holds several prestigious degrees from excellent universities, but his most distinctive claim is his advocacy, genuine care, concern for our students and their success. He recognizes the urgent need for all people to have opportunities for upward economic mobility, and certainly supporting veterans and their families as they pursue higher education. It's paramount to those efforts. Part of the VCCS's VCCS strategic plan, Accelerate Opportunity, specifically addresses the need to increase the number of veterans entering and completing credentials at one of Virginia's community colleges. So it's my honor to welcome Dr. David DeRay.
Thank you, Dr. Figge, and good morning, everyone, and happy Veterans Day. Or, you know, this morning I woke up and I told my partner, I said, Happy Veterans Day, and he works at the VA hospital, and he said, every day is Veterans Day at the VA. So I really am honored to be here to celebrate with you. This is really a special day. And I want to thank Dr. Figge for inviting me. This is going to become my tradition to come to Brightpoint at 11 a.m. on November 11th for Veterans Day. I want to acknowledge our keynote speaker, Captain John Maxwell. Can you give him another round of applause? And thank you for your distinguished service in the United States Navy and for sharing really some wisdom, I think, for all of us. You know, across our 23 colleges, the Virginia Community College System serves just under 29,000 military-affiliated students. 8,235 of our students are service members, active, retired, veteran, and reserve. 2,711 are spouses, and over 18,000 are dependents of our military and affiliated folks. In total, this represents about 14% of our student population. And I can tell you, we are so proud of the veterans and those military affiliated that we serve. You know, and for some of our colleges like Tidewater and Virginia Peninsula, that number represents about 30% of the student population at those colleges are military affiliated. And I wanted to say one word to, and I got the opportunity to meet Mr. Bruce Wilson, who's going to get an award. He's a paramedic student here at Brightpoint. I'm going to kind of echo Captain Maxwell and give you just 3 pieces of advice and to any of our other students. Consistency over intensity, progress over perfection, and fundamentals over fads. So keep those as you're going through that paramedic program. You know, in addition to our students, as Dr. Figge mentioned here at Brightpoint, so many of our employees proudly served their country before joining the Virginia Community College System. So we have a number of faculty and staff who are continuing their service through providing the life-changing opportunities that hundreds of thousands of students that we serve throughout the Commonwealth benefit from. You know, serving our military communities really means living out the heart of the Virginia Community College System's mission, providing opportunity, support, and pathways to a better life for those who have served our nation and their families. With majority military installations across Virginia, we have both the privilege and the responsibility to help military-affiliated students translate that incredible experience that they have of discipline and their technical expertise into civilian success in high-demand careers. And by expanding that access and support, we honor their service while building a stronger and more resilient Virginia. So it is my opportunity to really express my sincere thank you to all of our veterans and military-affiliated students and employees for your service to our country and for choosing Virginia's community colleges to be part of your continued journey in education and service. You know, last year, we began a new tradition honoring both our students and our longstanding colleagues and friend, Greer Sanders, who served as VCCS System Legal Counsel for 12 years until her passing last July. And we have missed Greer this past year, who served in the United States Marine Corps, and we will continue to honor her service and her dedication to the VCCS and to our students. So now I'd like to invite up and welcome Dr. Jennifer Gentry, our Senior Executive of Philanthropy, who's going to make a presentation.
Good morning, everybody. I have this aroma around me, honey, eucalyptus or something, but I don't think I'm contagious. It's just the allergies. But I appreciate being here. And as Dr. DeRay said, Greer Saunders was a colleague of ours, and she served as system counsel and senior assistant attorney general for the Virginia Community College system. And she previously worked in the attorney general's office as the legal representative for various higher education institutions and the statewide coordinator for domestic violence initiatives. And I just have to brag on her because I sat beside her in cabinet week after week, and I never realized how accomplished she really was. I knew she had a Juris Doctorate degree from Washington and Lee University School of Law, a master's degree from George Washington University, and a bachelor's degree from VCU. But one of her most notable accomplishments was serving in the U.S. Military Corps, where she was also a proud member of the U.S. Marine Corps Band. She graduated from the drill instructor school class, first place with a 98% point average. This was the highest score a female had ever received at that time, and she had the distinction of graduating first place. She received numerous first place accolades, and she was the first black female recipient of the Golden Sword Award. Gunnery Sergeant Greer D. Saunders retired from her service in May of 2013. And when I heard Captain Maxwell talk about the importance of humility, I can't think of a better word to describe Greer Saunders than humility. She had great humility and great compassion. So having said that, I do want to talk a bit about the awards. Okay. We honor 3 students with these awards. And when I call your name, I think there's only one student that was actually able to be here, but I'm going to recognize each of them. The first recipient is Eric M. Smart. He's Sergeant First Class retired from the U.S. Army, who served 21 years before being medically retired. Mr. Smart could not be with us today, but he is studying photography and digital media. He wishes to use photography not only to supplement his retirement and Virginia disability income, but to help others. He started photography 10 years ago as an alternative therapy for PTSD. These student success funds will help him with his commute to Brightpoint. He lives in Palmyra, which is an hour drive each way to class, and he does this commute 4 times a week. Mr. Smart is also a volunteer at Lake Monticello Fire Department, where he is a firefighter and their official photographer. After receiving his degree, he plans to start his own photography business, and he has a dream of also starting a nonprofit organization that helps veterans with their PTSD by teaching them photography. Our second recipient is Michael Sobers. I don't believe he was able to come as well. You stand up and, no, okay, Mr. Michael Sobers, he served 9 years active duty in the service, in the United States Air Force as an air traffic controller. He is currently pursuing the associate degree in radiology with the goal of earning his doctorate in radiology. He also plans to rejoin the United States Air Force in a reserve capacity and to continue service to our country. Outside of school, he works full-time as a banker to fund his education. Mr. Sober said in his application that being selected to receive the Greer D. Saunders Student Success Award is an honor, and he's truly humbled and very blessed to receive it. And finally, I believe this man is here, Mr. Bruce Wilson. Mr. Wilson, please come forward. Thank you. Stand here by the Chancellor, please. Mr. Wilson joined the Navy after graduating high school at the age of 17. He started his service as a hospital corpsman. Next, he went overseas to Italy. Would you give me the name of where in Italy? Sigonella. I had never, I'm from Stevens City, Sigonella. Thank you. To serve with Explosive Ordnance Disposal Mobile Unit 8 for the first of his many deployment overseas. He continued training in San Diego to become an independent duty corpsman and served on board the USS Nashville, and his final tour was on board USS Villa Gulf as Senior Medical Department Representative. He retired in August of 2019 at the rank of Chief Petty Officer and is studying to be a paramedic. So, with that, I'd like to offer this Chancellor, Mr. Wilson.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
And Bruce has his little son Levi over there with us.
Right. The Student Success Fund not only is the distinction of the award, but there is a monetary award that goes with it. So you will receive yours. I don't want to say your check is in the mail, but it's coming, I promise. So congratulations to all these students, and on behalf of the Virginia Foundation for Community College Education, we wish you continued success in your academic journey. Thank you so much. Let me see. Those are the three recipients. And if anyone else knows of anyone who'd like to invest in this award, please let me know. Thank you again.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Case Willoughby. I serve as Vice President of Student Affairs, and I want to thank Chancellor Duray, Vice Chancellor Gentry, President Viggy, VCCS, staff and friends, as well as Brightpoint students, staff, and faculty for joining us this morning. I hope you enjoyed the ceremony, and our veterans understand the admiration we have for them, and may we all strive to live up for the example they have set for us. Additionally, I'd like to offer my congratulations to our 3 Greer D. Saunders Student Success Fund Award recipients. I wish you continued success as you reach your goals. Friends, this concludes the formal portion of the ceremony. We welcome you to enjoy refreshments next door, right over that way. Thank you very much.